Good morning. How are you? Are you? Who said breathing? I like that. That's a good idea. I think all days should start with breathing. Yeah? Okay, so in your program there is a blue sheet with some words on it, and maybe I can invite you to stand up, and if you want, you don't have to. And but it'll help in the releasing and the let going. And if you've got some percussion in you, please feel free. I know you do. No percussion is front row? I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. And I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for... Okay, now I'm just going to ask that you go ahead and put those hands together. Pretty sure you know the words. You're all just staring at those words. Let's get those words into our breath, into our being, into the room. That's what it's about, right? The community together. There you go. I double dog dare you to not read the words. Here we go. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. One more time. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. You feel better, don't you? You feel like, oh, I got a little connected. Okay, I'll let you sit down. So we're talking about abundance today, and we're talking about it starts at the point of me, right? Me. It starts at the point of my consciousness, my thoughts, where I'm at in my space. And that's what we are doing together when we sing these songs at the beginning, is we're coming into this space, in this point of self, and then in this point of oneness. And we get to sing these songs together as affirmations that get us kind of in this space of openness to receive the inspiration that we're receiving from the ministers this morning. And so that's what I want to invite you to do, now that we've got you all warmed up, is to just kind of read these words, sing these words as your affirmation, getting you centered with yourself and then as community, yeah? Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. May our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Joy is triumphant. That's the message here. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. May our rest in God and say amen.
Great job, Tina and Alan. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Nicole, and it's an honor to be here with you all this morning. I absolutely missed being here last Sunday. Did you guys have a good time without me? Not too good of a time, did you? Okay. We are a loving spiritual sanctuary. Our doors have been open for well over 50 years, celebrating and honoring the oneness and wholeness of life. Yesterday, we had a really special experience here. We had a practitioner retreat. And so many of you might be feeling the residue of that sacredness, that recommitment, that acknowledgement of our gifts. And I know that it is saturated in the walls, and the residue of love and of joy and of spirit are left here this morning. Is Reverend Peggy still here? There she is. Everybody say hi to Reverend Peggy. We love you and we've missed you, and we're so happy you're here. Yay. So we have a mission statement that we like to say every Sunday, and it really grounds us in why we're here and what we're doing here. And so it's on the front of your program, and I'd like to invite you to say it with me. We are a loving spiritual sanctuary where everyone is welcome. We celebrate the abundance of life through study, inspiration, gratitude, and service. With open hearts and minds, we participate in self-transformation for a world that works for everyone. Yes. And we have an amazing service in store for us this morning. As you could see, we have the fabulous Alan Boustede and Tina Carson. We have our amazing practitioner this morning, Gina Overhaul. Reverend Michael and I will be sharing the message of the ABCs of abundance, and that'll be a lot of fun. But first, I want to share with you a few announcements. We have this really fun experience coming up called Trunk or Treat. And it's going to be on October 27th. And we're going to have a lot of fun things. If you've never heard of a trunk or treat, it's kind of like going trick-or-treating, only cars, we'll have 13 cars all set up with their trunks open and decorated for Halloween. And they'll have candy, and the kids will be able to walk around and trick-or-treat with us. But not only that, we're going to have face painting, cookie decorating, a movie, we'll have pumpkins, so it's going to be a whole extravaganza for us. And so I just want to know if there is anyone here who has a burning desire to to decorate their trunk, please come see me before I start picking people, okay? So that's October 27th. Put it in your calendar. Also, I want to invite up Steve Blue for another really special announcement.
Good morning, everyone. If you notice on your chairs, there were flyers for this Friday's concert. Now, this is the Music and Munchies concert. It's the second concert in a series of 3. The last concert was Amy Steinberg, and she was amazing. This Friday, it's going to be Daniel Nahmod, and I get to open for him. And I am really thrilled and excited to be part of this concert series. Thanks. And if you've never seen Daniel, I'm sure you have if you come here, but Daniel puts on an amazing concert. His songs are, fantastic. They've been featured on the Today Show. I think America's Got Talent. Someone did one of his songs. He's really worth seeing. And in late October, Tina is going to be appearing with Harold Payne here on October 26th. So that's the third of the concert series. So you got 2 concerts to come to. It's only $20. It includes pizza, salad, and a drink. And you get 2 fabulous performers on that evening. So this Friday, 7 o'clock sharp, and we'll see you there. Take the flyer with you, give it to friends, okay?
Yes.
Spread the word. Thanks so much.
Yes. That is a really fun experience. We also, Reverend Donna is teaching practical mysticism, and this is the second class, and it's your last chance to sign up. It's on Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 9, and it's a really special, really amazing class. If you're into going deep within yourself and recognizing the mystic within us. Also, this Wednesday, we will have lunch with the minister. If you've never had lunch with the minister, we just come in here at noon, and we all sit together, and we brown bag it, and we just have a good conversation, and it's actually one of the most fun things, I think. Yeah. So let's see, what else do we have? Nothing more to say about. Oh, new members class. We have a new members class on October 14th from 2 to 4:30. So if you just feel like you love it here and you're ready to take that extra deep commitment, which isn't that different than what you're already doing, but you want to become a member of our community, then we have that opportunity. We have that opportunity for you. Okay, everybody play nice. Okay, so I think this is a really great time for us to enter into spiritual practice. And the spiritual practice that I would like us to share this morning is just centering, just a brief meditation, and I want to invite everyone to be able to get comfortable in whatever way you choose, to close your eyes or let them softly lower, to just take a deep breath. Let's all take a deep breath together. Yes. I want to invite us to create a space within our heart, within our mind and spirit, to be filled and fed by the words of Gina and the music of Tina Carson.
Good morning. We continue with this month's theme, My Cup Runneth Over, to consider prosperity and abundance as our divine right inheritance. Being human, we get caught up in the world of effects and lose sight of our divine right inheritance. We're sometimes overwhelmed and off course, feeling unworthy of our good, and we lower our expectations. Ernest Holmes reminds us, sometimes bluntly, to look at the lavish wastefulness of nature, like the beautiful lilies of the field that neither toil or spin, and know that God intended us to be as abundantly supplied. He says that we ourselves are to blame when the fruits of the Spirit fail to appear. What he's talking about here is the concept of mental equivalence. If we can't picture our abundance manifesting, or we picture it too small, then good doesn't show up in our lives the way we want it to. I love that simplicity. With beautiful imagery, Holmes reminds us, nothing but lack of faith can keep my good from me, for I am one with the universal essence of life, or spirit, and its substance will manifest in my experience as I believe. No longer will I go for my good, carrying only an empty dipper to be filled. This day, as I turn to the Father within, I bring all my empty vessels, knowing they will be filled and my abundance will become manifest. He then has the affirmation, abundance is my inheritance. I ask you now to turn within, to contemplate these words. As I turn within, I bring all my empty vessels, knowing they will be filled, and my abundance will become manifest. As we return our attention to the room, let us give thanks to all that make this service unfold perfectly. For Michael and Nicole, knowing that the words that they will speak will be exactly what we need to hear today. And giving thanks for Alan and Tina, the musicians, every person who has a hand, from our bookstore to our kitchen to sound folks, video folks, etc. Let's give thanks and feel blessed by the spiritual community that we call the Jewel by the Sea. Join me now in saying, and so it is.
God on the inside, I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. Together. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am welcome Alan while he gets started.
Nicole emailed me from Puerto Vallarta, where I was on vacation. And she said in the email, I want you to play something about abundance, something about joy, effervescence, and the bounty of life. And being a classical trained musician, I immediately thought of Frédéric Chopin, who changed the game for piano playing in the 19th century. His vision of the piano was basically a fountain that creates many good things, and he also had a love for the dance movements. And so I'm going to play for you a waltz by Frédéric Chopin.
Thank you, Alan. Are we blessed here or what? So this month is all about My Cup Runneth Over. And I thought I'd celebrate with you guys, so I added something to my wardrobe. A ring appeared on my finger last Saturday. Well, along with a wonderful ceremony and just a blessed event. I couldn't have thought of any way it could have been any better. And it was interesting, I got a text 2 days before the wedding from my ministerial mentor. And it goes like this. It goes, thinking of you and Nicole, have the best wedding ever. And I think we did. I think we really did. And thank you for coming. And for me, we always preach about envision your life and envision your events in your life to be outstanding and beautiful and wonderful and meaningful. And Ernest Holmes says, you don't really know something until you can demonstrate it. So in my mind, we demonstrated it last Saturday. It was the wedding of my dreams, the wedding of Nicole's dreams. And what made it especially special is to see those of you who came, to see your smiling faces, and those of you who couldn't make it, all the well wishes that went into it. It just created this wonderful, wonderful event for us. So Nicole and I are going to share with you the ABCs of abundance. And for a full disclosure, we got some of these from Reverend Josh's boss, Roger Teal. Roger's a great storyteller. He loves to share his stories. I'm sure he wouldn't mind us giving our part of it to this congregation. So before we go into the ABCs and the acronyms, I want to let you know what I told you a few weeks ago. Right now, abundance is yours. It always has been. It always will be. You don't have to earn it. That's a gift from God, a gift from Spirit, a gift from life, a gift from love, that is yours. So that's the overarching, beautiful, empowering good news. Now, prosperity at times can be more of a slippery slope, because what prosperity is all about, we have this gift called abundance that we can root our feet in the divine and let it flow through us. And sometimes when we don't have prosperity, it's our consciousness that's getting in the way. So there's two parts to that. The good news is you have everything you need, and what we have to work on is making our consciousness a clean, beautiful conduit to let that good flow up through us and out into our experience. And there comes to be an art or nurturing this consciousness of abundance each and every day of our life. We have to get away from this shared trance space that we walk around in and talk about lack and scarcity. That's not the truth. It's something that we've just bought into. So we can all come back as brothers and sisters from our journey away from who we are, and we can come back to the kingdom of ever and ever expanding good. And that's the good news. And that's when someone talks to you about prosperity, I always like to go back to abundance, because that's where the power comes from, that's where the love comes from, that's where the wisdom always, always comes from. And when we come back from the shared trance and get back in touch with that, we're getting back in touch with something inside of us. And that something inside of us is always there. And I want to share some words, what the great poet Sufi said about this ocean of spirit in us. He says this: the source is within you. This whole world is springing from it. The source is full, and its waters are ever flowing. Do not grieve and drink your fill. Don't think it will ever run dry. So the beauty is the source, the power, the presence, the love, the compassion is within us. And now we got to get our consciousness to a point where we can let it flow through us. And the Bible tells us exactly this. The Bible tells us, what thou hast believed, so it shall be done unto you. And then in our speak, where we teach on Sundays and in the classes, you'll hear something like this: as it is in my consciousness, so it is in my experience. So now we get to the ABCs. The first one is abundance-based consciousness. And once again, we're coming from this infinite and great creative source. And what we have to understand is that the worldly affairs, our name, our job, our position, our family status, or whatever event someone else told you you have to wait to get your good, is absolutely not your source. Your source is God, your source is Spirit, your source is you stepping up and accepting the greatness that have always, always been given to you. And when we pray for things, we don't pray for worldly things. What we teach here over and over again is that consciousness is causation. So what we're praying for is to activate consciousness. When we activate consciousness, when our consciousness is clear, when we know what we want and know it deep within our heart, pack it with emotions, pack it with knowingness, the worldly results always, always follow. So that's all good, that's the truth, that's the logical way of looking at things. But now I want to give you one ABC to help you with your consciousness. And that is awareness builds consciousness. Because we build our consciousness one moment at a time. And we can use this sense of awareness. And we've talked before about looking as an observer about how your life is going. What are you acting like? What are you thinking about? And what results did you get? But we had a foundations class on Thursday, and I want to bring a gift that we discussed in that class to you, a more proactive way. Because that class on Thursday was all about obtaining an affirmation that the students could say to themselves 200 times a day for a week solid. Now, why would we do something as tedious and crazy as that? Because we know here that as we think through our brain. We also know by the science that your brain is plastic. It can be molded. In brain science, they have the term, what fires together, wires together. So we know when we put positive thoughts in, the neurons physically change in our brain. Let me get back to one of my Southern sayings. Lord knows we put enough negative stuff in our brain for over decades and decades. So we can take some positive actions. We can look and see when we're mad at someone that just pushed our button. That probably wasn't a very compassionate act on their part. But remember, we were probably part of constructing that button that they could push. So as we clear our consciousness, that's all that we have to do. We don't have to do the heavy lifting. The abundance and joy and love and compassion is yours already. It always has been. It always will be. So there's two tools I want to give to you for you to go hunting your prosperity with. And I'm sure my beloved Nicole will give you some more. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Michael. That gave us a lot to think about. Let's see. Okay. So our theme, like he said, is my cup runneth over. But a theme is really an intention. We just call it a theme. And so this intention of recognizing and feeling and sensing the abundance of love or friendship or community or peace in our lives has just kind of been overflowing seriously in my life. Has it been for any of you? Okay, I don't know if it's like because we've been talking about it so much, so it's at the forefront of our mind, or if it's because we're actually creating it, right? Probably both. Okay, there we go. But I just feel so good, so fulfilled in this position in my life right now, and I know that it's because of the collective consciousness that's here in this community. And so thank you for being a part of that. We have one very special announcement. Our old minister here, Reverend Josh, he and April just had their baby. So that's very, very exciting. Their cup runneth over with diapers and all sorts of things, huh? So we're going to talk about 2 ABCs of abundance. The first is activating bold creativity. And the second is always bless your circumstances. And since the first one sounds a lot more fun, we're going to work with that one, okay? First. So, activating bold creativity. Activating bold creativity. Doesn't that just sound exciting? Yes. Yes. Are you guys still asleep? So activating bold, is there something wrong with the microphone? Okay. It's these big old earrings I'm wearing, you know. So activating bold creativity. We are always creating in our lives. It doesn't mean that we're necessarily the best painter or poet or expressionist, but we have this very special, almost magical power within us to create anything. And that, coupled with the spiritual law, the spiritual principle of life that always just says yes, those two things collide together within us, and they create our external affairs, right? Yes. Okay, I want to share with you a quote from Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and Big Magic, and this is from her. She says, "A creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life, and a happier life, an expanded life, and have a hell of a lot more fun life. And living in this manner, continuously and stubbornly bringing out the jewels from within us, is a fine art in and of itself." And I can't help but feel like she just really got the essence of activating bold creativity with her energetic way of recognizing that every one of us has a jewel within us. Every one of us has something that's bubbling up inside, and we just really want to express it. We really want to create it. We really want our lives to be like ... right? We all have a dream, a desire, a hope. And what I just want to remind us, is that that dream, that jewel within us, that hope within us, when we couple that with constructive, affirmative thoughts and feelings, it will absolutely reveal itself. We become like the Picasso of our external affairs. We draw and write and engrave within us, within our hearts and our minds, what we so desire, and then we see it show up in our world. And that reminds me of something that Reverend Scott said yesterday at our retreat, that when people come in here for the first time or for the first few times, their lives are out of control. Many people's lives are filled with chaos. And so we come in here and we learn to gain control. We learn to gain control over our external affairs. We learn to gain control over our mind and our thoughts. But then there's something really special and really amazing that happens after a while, after we've been on that spiritual journey of learning how to use this spiritual law of life. We get to a point where it's time to surrender. There is a saying that there is a power for good in the universe and we can use it. But once we begin and once we learn and once we're steeped in using that power for good, then the saying goes, there is a power for good in the universe and it can use us. So it begins to use us. And our second, or my last ABC of abundance has to do with that surrendering into Spirit's idea of a greater life than we could even imagine. And that is always bless circumstances. Always bless circumstances. I totally hate this one sometimes. So, I mean, come on, this gets hard, right? Like, we have stuff happen in our lives. And I know for me, when something really bad has happened in my life, there is always someone who's saying, oh, someday you'll see the reason why this happened, or, oh, someday it'll all make sense. And, or when I'm feeling really low, they'll say this, count your blessings. Somebody else has always got it worse than you. And it's like, wow, those are really good perspectives to have. And it is the truth. And that at the same time, when you're in the thick of it, it's like, I do not even want to hear that right now. Like, I am going through this. So one trick or spiritual practice my husband has for me is he goes, okay, Nicole, you got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to dwell on it. You got 3 minutes to say whatever you want, do whatever you want, throw a fit, get mad, and then that's it. And then we're moving on, and we're going to count our blessings. We're gonna, bless the circumstance because we have made it this far, and we are okay. But I get those 3 minutes, man. Take your 3 minutes. I want to share with you a really inspiring story that I heard recently about this girl. She's 25. Her name is Emily Gossix, and she is like the Helen Keller of the art world. This woman is amazing. So when she was young, they found out that she wasn't blind, but she couldn't hear. And so she had hearing aids put in her. She had to have really powerful hearing aids put in. And something about that adversity in her life at such a young age really empowered her to just live her life full out, to just live her dreams. And so she decided she was going to become an artist. And she actually got into the Manhattan Cooper Union School of Fine Arts. And she got an internship when she was 23 at this art studio, this really great art studio. And she was not driving, she was riding her bike to the art studio for her internship. And an 18-wheeler comes and just smacks her, runs her over. She has a serious brain injury. She had a stroke. She had a fracture of her head and her pelvis and her legs. And not only that, but she was blinded. Yeah. And so the second day of her being in the hospital, the nurse says to the family, would you like to start donating her organs? And the family just lost it. They're like, oh my God, that's it. That's it for our little girl. And later on that night, she moved her arm. And the mom said, she moved her arm. And the husband said, well, that's it. We're not donating anything. And so from that moment on, they just waited and persevered and waited. And there came a point when the family said, well, can we put her in a rehab? And the doctor said, no, you just need to go find a nursing home where she can go spend the rest of her life until she dies. And the mom and the dad were so devastated. But the boyfriend, this loving, devoted boyfriend, he tried and researched different ways that he could communicate with her. And one of the ways that Annie Sullivan communicated with Helen Keller was the palm touch writing. So they would write on the palm of the hand, and that was their communication. And so the boyfriend found this idea, and he wrote, I love you. And as soon as he did that, she responded. And they put the hearing aids in, and she started to come alive again. And then it took 2 years of rehabilitation, but she was able to actually go back to her school and finish her undergraduate degree at the School of Art. And not only that, now she just won the Kennedy Center Fine Arts Arts of Excellence for this. It's a sculpture that she made called Birds Singing. 2 years after she was blinded, and she says, you know what? I am so blessed. I am so grateful to be alive and to be able to express my creativity. And I'm thinking, my gosh. What circumstances to be blessed in, what circumstances, and she feels such gratitude. And I think, my gosh, if she can feel that much gratitude in her life, then certainly we can find some gratitude in our own. Certainly we can bless our situation and our circumstances. And Dr. Ernest Holmes, he says, that every one of us, every single one of us is a child of God. Every son and every daughter is a child of God. And I truly believe that Emily knew this. And I know that so many of us here know this, that we are all the daughters and sons of the beloved. And for this, we are so blessed, because so few people truly feel this and know it, but we get to. And it doesn't mean that we're the favored ones. It just means that we are the ones who are able to and desire to recognize and realize the sacredness of life, the sacredness of our own life and of the lives around us. It is so very special. We are so very special. And so I want to invite you to say something with me or repeat after me, okay? I bless my circumstances.
I bless my circumstances.
I allow the creative power within me to show up in my life.
I allow the
Creative power within me to show up in my life. And I activate bold creativity in all that I do.
And I activate bold creativity in all that I do.
Yes, and so it is. Yes.
One of the great joys of being connected with the Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living is that I have had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful, supportive people. And this week I wanted to, since I'm here and I have the mic, I wanted to mention that I went to a wonderful party that was the celebration of life of Carolyn Motola. Carolyn, can you stand up? She was stunning, and tons of people came to Clubhouse 4 at Leisure World, and she danced up a storm. She sang. I even helped her a few months ago. I helped her coach on a couple of songs that she was singing, and she just did it up. And her spirit is indomitable. Her intelligence and kindness is just wonderful. I want to dedicate this tango to Carolyn Motola.
My God, we have so much talent here. I love it. So much inspiration. Ah, well, now it's that time of service where we get to share in another spiritual practice of being generous and sharing a gift with our community, remembering that we are a nonprofit organization and everything that we put into it goes out into the different programs that we have here and out into the greater community to do good in this world. Also, we have another new way to give. It's text to give. You can text your donation to 408-359-694. 8. It's very easy to sign up and very easy to use. So I want to invite you to take your gift, whatever it is, whether it's a gift of a thought, a gift of energy, a gift of love or money. I invite you to place it on your heart, recognizing the heart as a symbol of circulation and love and life. And say with me, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous. Thank you, God. Yes.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning. My name is Rachel. I'm one of the practitioners who serve in this community. And I'm here to remind you that we take care of any problem that you may feel is in your way. We help you remove the obstacles and the blocks so that you can be an open, flowing vessel for God's love, God's truth, God's power. In your program this morning, there's a separate sheet. If you want to write down a request for prayer, we have a box in the back before you leave, and you can put it in there. Or after service, some of us will be lined up by the windows here on the side, and anyone can come up and ask for a 5-minute miracle. And so now I just want to close with prayer, knowing that this whole morning has been surrounded by the love and the grace of that one that we call God. And all our practitioners who want to stand at this time, you may. Letting each one of us recognize the truth that inside, in the very heart of our being, there is a jewel. And we call this building the Jewel by the Sea, this community. But that relies on the jewel that each one of us mines within our own being. And knowing that we are a part of that highest power, there can never be a separation. I recognize it is good and very good. And I stand firm in that knowing and thankful that this is so. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
Let's bring in the kids.
For waiting for us. So this is our last Sunday that we've been talking about abundance, and last week we were looking at abundance through gratitude. and really acknowledging what we already have and being grateful for that. And we decided to expand on that today. And we talked about when we feel like something's missing and that we're not complete, and that a lot of times it's just an illusion that we really are complete. And so we did something kind of special, and Evan is going to tell you about it.
So today we built a puzzle that was square, and then we switched it, and there was a hole in the middle.
So let me make sure that they understand. So we made a puzzle, and what was the shape?
A square.
Square. And then she moved it around, and then what happened?
There was a hole in the middle.
A hole in the middle. Did you take a piece away?
No.
It was all the same pieces, but now it looked like something was missing?
Yes.
But was something missing?
No.
No. Was it still whole?
Yes.
Yes, it was. It's our magic puzzle. Evan, amazing job. And now we're going to hear from the junior high and teens.
Good morning. Okay, so today we also did a little something upstairs, and Elliot is going to tell us all about that.
Good morning. So today upstairs we had the theme of abundance, and so we took like things that we have abundance for, like an abundance of excitement, friends, caring, and we wrote them on scrolls that said our future self at the top, and then I'll share part of it because it's a long one. My future self has emotional and mental clarity. I'm helpful and caring. My future self is intelligent and thoughtful. And then we wrote down God qualities that we either already had or would put into our future self, such as clarity, emotional balance, acceptance, light, love, and forgiveness. And we tied it into we already have that, and we can become our future self.
You're so awesome, Elliot.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Elliot. And he had no warning that he was talking. Thank you, Elliot. That was amazing. Okay, and I'd also just like to remind you guys that on the 6th of October, which is in, I believe, two weeks from now on a Saturday, we are doing the prep work for our painting over in the youth room. So if anybody would like to sign up, we could use some help. So the sign-up sheet's right out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite everyone to stand and take a hand. And repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It's this thing called life. Life is in my body. Life is in my mind. Life is in all that I do. I give thanks for it, and I accept it just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.